Hi everyone. Today I am going to tell you my story. So I'm going to do this in a couple parts. I think to fully understand how to make a beautiful life, you really do have to understand where I've come from, who I became, how I got lost, and how I found myself again. Let's get started. Part 1, the beginning. I was born almost 40 years ago in this very month of October. And this is why I am creating How to Make a Beautiful Life, because it's like a new beginning for me. As a child, I had a wonderful childhood. I had wonderful people in my life, family in my life. Growing up in my elementary years, it wasn't always easy. My parents got divorced. I think that, played its role in some of the things that happened in elementary school. I just was very isolated. I didn't have a lot of friends. My mom was my best friend, and I slept in her bed, I think, until I was 12. Sorry, Mom. And but I loved my family, and I was always myself around them. I just always preferred to be around my family opposed to, other people. I just felt always more myself, and I feel like that's still how I am today. I really enjoy spending time with my family and people that I'm comfortable with, and they have to love you no matter how weird or awkward you are. In school, I had ADD, which I didn't know at the time, but school was very hard for me. Reading was very hard for me. I always kind of felt that I wasn't a smart kid because of the ADD, but I really was. It just took me longer to understand things and to process them than the other kids. A really short haircut, which didn't help either. And I kind of look like Elvis. I just really did struggle at that time. And then going into 6th grade, I was still trying to figure everything out. And I was making really bad grades in middle school, because imagine adding multiple classes on top of ADD when you don't even have the ADD figured out, because no one even knows you have it. So it was challenging. But there was this moment in middle school that I can remember like it was yesterday. My dad and I are sitting in his Ford Bronco, and he is dating a woman at the time, and she had older children than us. And he was just speaking so highly of her daughter. She was going to med school at Hope College, and he was just the way he was talking about her just really caught my attention. And I just remember thinking to myself, damn, I want my dad to talk about me like that. I want my mom to talk about me like that. I want people in my life to speak highly of me, because at this point I just, I was pretty lazy, and I wasn't doing anything, and I wasn't involved in school. That, I wasn't making honor roll or doing anything in particular impressive. So I just remember wanting my dad to speak highly of me like that. And then that became my why. In that moment, it was it clicked, and I knew I had to do, because with the ADD, I wasn't able to learn everything as quickly as everybody else was. So what I didn't make up for in, that ability to learn quickly, I quickly learned that I needed to apply myself harder. I needed to go in after school, and I needed to study more than other people were, because I needed to practice where I was lacking so that I could get by and I could do it. And I realized that I could. And so from that point on, I made honor roll. I started getting involved in school. I even had the guts to try out for the basketball team, because up to this point, I had no experience with basketball. And, kind of people that I wanted to hang out with were on the basketball team, where I just wanted to be around, people who were more involved in school to keep me on that right path as well. people who cared about it, and made it a priority, though it was like, were the people that I was like attracted to at that point. And so they all played basketball. So I wanted to try out for the team, and I get through tryouts and I get cut from the team. And I am devastated because, my dad was like world-class basketball player. He had the nickname JoJo Gun. The 3-point line was his spot, and he was an exceptional athlete. And I just didn't want to go home and have to tell him that I had gotten cut from the team. So our basketball coach was Mr. Hofstra, and Mr. Hofstra, if you're out there, you in this moment also changed the course of my life, and I am forever grateful to you. I was crying and I was very upset because, again, I didn't want to have to go home and disappoint my dad, because I know he really wanted me to play. And I wanted to play myself. I wanted to be involved in school. I wanted to be a part of something. And I just didn't have the skills yet to be as good as I could have been. And I needed the practice. So I said to Mr. Hofstra, I said, could I just be on the team? I'll take stats. I just want to practice with you. I don't have to play. I just want to practice so I get better. Because how am I ever supposed to get better if you don't give me this chance? And so he ended up keeping me on the team. And it really it was one of those defining moments in my life, because making that team that day was more than basketball. It's where I met my very best friend that I'm still the bestest friends with to this day, Jessica. And it's where I built that foundation of learning routine and making school a priority, because I had to get the grades to play, and I had to do well in school. And so it just changed it and shifted my mindset, and opened all these doors for me, because then I got into volleyball and I got into other sports too. So I was just finally a part of something, and I was making friends for the first time in my life, people who actually liked me for me, which was very powerful in those middle school years and going into the high school years. And my why was still to make my parents proud, and to just live up to that girl that my dad was talking about that day in the car. And I feel like I really had lived up to this person, and I was very fulfilled and validated by that. So at this point, I had become this driven girl. That middle school, from that moment in middle school when my dad had that conversation with me in the car, and then to the moment where I made the basketball team, everything that I did in those next steps were in here, and they were I want to succeed, I want to better myself, I want to just make the best life that I could possibly set myself up to make the best life that I could possibly make. And I was very thankful for those moments, and I was very thankful for the people that I met, and the effects that they had on my life. My mom was a single mom, and watching her get up every day at 4:30 in the morning and bust her ass to make a life for us, the best life that she could possibly give to us. And my dad also, and seeing them do that, gave me that work ethic and drive as well. So, I was just observing, but I also saw how hard they had to work. And to get by, it wasn't like they were saving a lot and, had a ton of extra money. So I also wanted to make sure that I was setting myself up to not have to work so incredibly hard. And so I'm going to stop here today, but the things I wanted to highlight from this portion of my story is, so this girl leading up to this part of my story, she had figured it out. She had drive. She had a mission and a passion, and her why was, to make everyone proud of her. And if there's anything that you could take away from this, if it is to be, it was up to me. I mean, I am such a believer in that, because I could have sat there and made excuses. My parents were divorced. We didn't have a lot of money. You know, I had ADD. I had a learning disability. I wasn't smart enough. I couldn't play basketball, so I'm just going to quit. No, but that would have taken energy away from working hard and practicing harder to make up where I was lacking. And so that just wasn't an option for me, because I wanted, at that young age, which I wish I could go back and hug that girl, because she was freaking awesome. She made me so proud, and she knew what she wanted in life, and she went and got it. If it was to be, it was up to me. You cannot sit around and make excuses all day. You have to accept the only person who can make the changes is you, and forgive all the rest of it. So that is where we're at this point of our story. Join me for part 2 on Wednesday, where we are talking about who I became. You won't want to miss it. I hope you